Imagine you are standing in a courtroom. You hear a compelling argument from the prosecution. It sounds flawless. Then the defense speaks, and suddenly your mind flips. Who is telling the truth? Hello, friends. Welcome to the Channel Growth Library, where we distill the world's most powerful ideas into actionable insights. Friends, most of us think we are good thinkers, but in reality, our brains are wired for survival, not for truth. We take shortcuts, we follow the crowd, and we fall for emotional traps. Critical thinking. Mastery isn't just about being smart. It's about upgrading your mental operating system to see the world as it actually is, not how you feel it is. Now let's start. Chapter 1. The Foundation. What is critical thinking? Critical thinking is the art of thinking about your thinking while you're thinking. It's a self-correcting process. You cannot solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. Story. Think of a doctor in an ER. A patient comes in with chest pain. A weak thinker assumes heart attack. A master critical thinker asks, what else could this be? Is it anxiety? Is it a lung issue? They don't fall in love with their first guess. Lesson. Neutrality is your superpower. Practical takeaway. Before making a decision, ask yourself, what if the exact opposite of what I believe is true? Chapter 2. The Enemy Within. Cognitive biases. Our brains use heuristics, mental shortcuts, to save energy. These shortcuts often lead us off a cliff. Your brain is a lawyer, not a scientist. It tries to win the argument rather than find the truth. Confirmation bias. You only look for news that proves you're right. The Dunning-Kruger effect. When you know a little about a subject, you think you're an expert. Availability. Heuristic. You fear shark attacks because they are on the news, even though falling out of bed is statistically more dangerous. Practical takeaway. Keep a bias journal. Write down one time today where you jumped to a conclusion without evidence. Chapter 3. The Art of the Question. Socratic inquiry. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Instead of making statements, ask questions that peel back the layers of a problem. Story. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, never gave lectures. He just asked questions until his students realized their own logic was flawed. Practical. Takeaway. Use the 5 whys method. If a project fails, ask why 5 times. By the 5th why, you'll usually find the root cause, not just the symptom. Chapter 4. Logic and fallacies. Spotting the lies. Logical fallacies are glitches in an argument. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. People use dirty logic to win debates. Common fallacies. Ad hominem. Attacking the person instead of their argument. You're wrong because you're lazy. Straw man. Misrepresenting someone's point to make it easier to attack. Slippery slope. Claiming that one small step will inevitably lead to a disaster. Story. A politician says, if we let kids stay out an hour later, soon they'll be committing crimes every night. That is a slippery slope. Practical takeaway. When someone argues with you, look for the hidden premise. What are they assuming that they haven't proven? Chapter 5. Emotional intelligence. The shield of reason. You cannot think critically if you are angry, terrified, or overly excited. Emotions are data, not instructions. The concept. The amygdala hijack. This is when the emotional part of your brain shuts down the logical part, the prefrontal cortex. Practical takeaway. Use the 10-to-10-10 rule. How will you feel about this decision in 10 minutes? 10 months? 10 years? This forces your brain back into logical mode. Chapter 6. Deep analysis. Evidence and probability. Master thinkers don't deal in certainty. They deal in probability. Stop saying, I know this will happen. Start saying, there is a 70% chance this will happen. Key lesson. The difference between correlation and causation. Just because the sun rises when the rooster crows doesn't mean the rooster caused the sun to rise. Practical takeaway. Always check the source. Ask, who funded this study? What do they have to gain? Chapter 7. Decision-making frameworks. How do you actually apply this to your life and career? Use mental models to filter your choices. First, principles. Thinking. Break a problem down to its basic truths and rebuild it from scratch. A favorite of Elon Musk. Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. Practical takeaway. When faced with two choices, use a decision matrix. Rate your options based on factors like cost, time, and impact to see which one mathematically wins. Chapter 8. The Growth Mindset. Intellectual humility. The final step to mastery is admitting you might be wrong. Being wrong is the only way to get closer to being right. Story. Great scientists like Einstein were constantly revising their theories. They didn't see being wrong as a failure, but as a leveling up of their knowledge. Lesson. Seek out people who disagree with you. They are the only ones who can show you your blind spots. Becoming a master. Critical thinking is a muscle. If you don't use it, it withers. By questioning your biases, mastering your emotions, and looking for logical flaws, you stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the pilot. The next time you hear a fact or feel a surge of certainty, stop. Take a breath and ask, is this true, or do I just want it to be true?